Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well on this 1st of March. Um, as usual, on the 1st of March, and I've been talking about this tradition pretty much every year. It's a Romanian tradition. Remember, that's where I was born and raised. And that symbolizes the first day of spring. And on the 1st of March, the old tradition was for both men and women, but the newest one is men give it to women, or women can give it to women depending on their relationship. Women can give it to friends, relatives, co-workers, but it is there are very tiny things usually that have a thread with tassels at the ends. The thread is made out of twisted white and red, and the tassels are one red, one white. And of course, they do have a legend about them, how they first came. Initially, they were just signs of good luck in the old times, and I'm talking about BC and the first AD years. They were coins, but then other symbols started to be added: miniature horseshoes for luck, miniature chimney sweeps, miniature four-leaf clovers. And nowadays, it's pretty much anything and everything that's in a miniature. Mostly there would be flowers. And I don't know how it is now, but back in the day, before I left Romania, especially downtown, but around most of the commercial areas, there would be street vendors, and they were all handcrafted. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Chris. Hi, Elaine. Glad you made it. That would sell their little thing. And the translation for these would be little marches. Now remember, March, it is named in all Latin-derived languages. The month of March is the month of Mars, as in the god of war. Okay, I think I made enough of these. And but the little marches have absolutely nothing to do with the god of war. And just to show you a little bit, I'm going to go to display show so you can see a little bit of how they look like. So you have here a flower and a little horseshoe. Here are just flowers. You can see that these are made out of polymer clay. Before polymer clay was able to enter Romania back in 1990, because the Romanian anti-communist revolution was right before Christmas of 1989, these were made out of all kinds of things, out of wood. They would be embroidered, painted wood, and things like this. And you can see that they are all handmade. I made a lot of these. You just make the tassels look like people. And then once the time for wearing them is done, see, these are crocheted. You are supposed to get the thread and go outside and tie it on the branch of a fruiting tree so that it would have good harvest. Okay, so let's get back to our thing. Hi, Adelaide. I am sorry. I'm glad you're back too. So what I want to show you is how to make, you can find this kind of little separate bezels on Amazon if you go on my influencer store, which I would beg you to do so that I can do more stuff. Hold on, I lost my camera. But you can do any kind of, not necessarily this shape, anything. You can be a circle, it can be anything. And what you want to do first is, I already cut my little leaves here, but what you want to do first is I'm using the jungle green. Again, this is a color that has been discontinued by Sculpey, but you can find it on the homepage of my website, kalyanadesign.com, and you can link to it from my channel. Because I still think, I don't know why they stopped manufacturing it, because it's the best for doing anything that is related to nature and to, of course, you can make a slightly lighter thing, or you can make a Skinner blend with this and a little bit of wasabi at the very end. That also gives it a good thing. And if you want, I can try and show you how that works. But the first thing you want to do is decide on which area you're going to place your design, and get some clay, because obviously what's going to happen if you try to put the clay directly on the metal, it's not going to stay there. You can of course work it separately and then simply glue it there, but if you do it the way that I'm showing you, it's going to look much better and more professional. So this is all you need to do, just to wrap the green around for all the area that you intend. I'm going to cut it here, and then I'm going to start it about here. I think should be okay. Come on. This is the first part of what you're supposed to do. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. Give me just a second. Okay, there we go. And I don't see a lot of color. Okay, this should be better. And this way you can see the color as well. So your best bet is to start a little bit ahead of what you're trying to do, and then the area that you're trying to cover, and then just go ahead and push it. And now of course you need to kind of make it look pretty. It's going to require some feathering and a little bit of what I wanted to say is that if you have a round area, you need to make sure that it is well defined, so it wouldn't start sliding around. Now, what you need to pay attention to the most is what's going to be the back. That is what you want to make look the best. Of course, you can put some leaves on the back, bake, and then turn it around and put some leaves on the front, or you can just put leaves on the front and leave the back as is. I would also put a little bit of glitter here if you decide to leave it as is. Now, first we're gonna use the leaves, and for this, you know, the whole thing. You make first a ball that you make into a string, and then you cut even. So to make this, you go first round, and then you go straight. So round to make the bead, and then straight. And you want to have at least 7 or 8 leaves, because you want to kind of cover the whole thing. Now see, this one is way too long. I don't want it this long. I've been using kinesio tape for my base of thumb osteoarthritis, and it seems to have helped a lot. As you can see, I can do the pinching motion. Okay, next, remember I'm using a lot these, it cannot come closer, these cosmetic sponges. That work. You can either use this, or if you go in my influencer store, okay, I managed to get these two. If you go in my influencer store, you can find in the section of flower making, there are these little mats that are used for sugar craft that work wonders with polymer clay as well. So the first thing to do is to prepare your little leaves. So grab them one by one. You can see this is a working cosmetic thing, and these cosmetic sponges, you can find them also in my influencer store in the tools. All right, so next thing, this you may want to put a little bit of Armor All on it. Why are you coming after me? The sugar crafting sponge mats are a little bit harder than the cosmetic sponge, but you can get a ton of them. I mean, excuse me, spring has started and so did allergies. You can get a lot of working surface for them. That's what I meant to say, because usually they come in 2 sheets that are almost an A4, and what I do, I just cut them in 2 or even in 4, and they last a long time. And yes, you want your little leaves to be a little curved, because that gives volume to your work. Now, for this, you do not want a needle. You can work with the tiniest ball stylus, or you can work with a toothpick, but you just keep adding them. So that they will be all around. Okay. You can also use your hand. I forgot to say that. Your hand works just as fine. You don't have to buy fancy stuff. Because you want these leaves to be fairly thin. Okay. I was thinking that one thing that I should start doing is to, from now on, to start showing at the beginning of each live the finished piece that I did in the previous live. That should be a good thing. So this is pretty much all you need to do for the leaves part. It is very easy, as you can see. So yeah, while I'm doing this, let me say again the story of the little march. So long time ago, I'm trying to find the exact translation for the Romanian once upon a time. It would be sometime, like never. I don't know, it's very hard to translate, but let's say once upon a time the sun was this beautiful girl, and old man Winter and decided that he wanted to have the sun all for himself and have dominion of the world all over forever. So what he did, he hid the sun in a tree. And of course, the whole world was suffering until a valiant prince decided to save the sun. And he took his sword, lance, whatever you want, and went ahead to free the sun from its tree prison. And he fought Old Man Winter. Well, in some of the story, it's actually the Winter Dragon. And at one point he managed to free the sun from its tree, but with its last throws, the Winter Dragon, or the Old Man Winter, gave a deadly blow to the young prince, knight, whatever you want him to be. And his blood, there were drops of his blood that fell on the fresh snow. And the sun, as it was freed made it so where the drops of blood appeared, snowdrops started coming out from under the snow. So since then the snowdrops are also a symbol of spring, and they appear a lot in the little marches. And the strings and tassel are to remind us of the sacrifice of the young man who freed the sun. But also the old meaning of it was red for life and white for purity. And in the older tradition, they were actually black and white, and it was coming from the darkness to the light. So lots of meanings for this tradition. Okay, so now we got our little leaves, and we're gonna go forward with, and of course you can add more, it's up to you. And how to make the string, you simply have your bead. Let me get a little bit farther away. Okay, so we got the bead, and then we start to get it like this. And yes, you can make the tassels yourself. I did many times because here I cannot find them. In Romania you can, oh, and by the way, that's a tradition in Bulgaria too. Only in Romania it's called mărțișor, and in Bulgaria it's called martenița. And you can just get, you know, those little bundles of silk for embroidery. Going to put the, so this is the pink, the Primo pink with half and half translucent. You don't have to add translucent, but it's going to make the flowers better looking. So you want at least 2 flowers, and count for 4 to 5 petals per flower. And I'm not gonna hold you for that long, but I'm going to make only 3, 4, 5. And these ones, obviously, you don't need to make longer, you just need the beads. So that's the way you saw I made the string, and then you cut the same length pieces, so that way you'll have your all the little balls the same size. Oh, I made this one oval. And yeah, we are expecting some rain and some showers, and I hope they come because it hasn't rained for a long time. We are in deep drought. I was talking to a friend of mine in Delaware, and she was like, gee, I wish I could send you some of the rain we had here. And I was like, yeah, I wish I could too. because it's got to the point that we don't even have with the water, it's not a lot of pressure because they are trying to kind of sort of economize. The water table is quite low and muddy, so yeah, it's not the only thing that I'm worried, because we had, at least in the last couple of weeks, remember that we had big cold at the beginning of February, but since then it was fairly warm. The coldest it was during the day was in the upper 50s, but like, for example, yesterday it was 85 degrees. The day before it was 82. Today it's going to be 73. Tomorrow it's going to be lower, like 56, but still. And the thing that worries me is that usually that shows a super active tornado season, which I'm not happy about. And I've been seeing a lot of the weather people putting up forecasts the same. Okay, I'm gonna just make, I said I was going to just make 3. So as you can see, it's not very difficult to make the petals. The final result is quite pretty. Somebody once asked when I was showing how to make these, if they can be put in resin. Yes, obviously you can do that. You can make, instead of this, you can put just a little dot of clay and start working on it. The same concept. And if you go and look in the old lives, I have a lot of old lives that show you how to make miniature flowers. Alrighty, so now we are going to place, and let me zoom in again. I am sorry that I have to cough to get my voice properly, but as I said, it's been, the stuff started blooming. My daffodils have been in bloom for like 4 or 5 days now. And okay, let's go even closer. Be good. Okay, so then we start. Aim for 5 petals. Because that would make them the most realistic. Hey, this one just doesn't wanna. There we go. So I've been trying to find something I didn't do before for St. Patrick's. If you go on my channel homepage and you do a search using the word clover, you will find both uploaded videos as well as live broadcasts with a St. Patrick's themed St. Patrick's Day themed. So at this point, all you're focusing on, getting back to our little flowers, is to place the flowers. You don't need to focus on anything else. To place the petals to form the flowers. Arranging them comes next, but right now you just want to place the petals. Next, you want to make sure that they are all firmly attached, so use the bowl stylus. It's easier to work with the toothpick to place them, but to make sure that they are firmly attached, the bowl stylus will work the best. And then you can start. Now you're going to say, yeah, but they don't look that terrific in the middle. That middle doesn't look very good. And you are correct. What we need is to add, where's my yellow? Is to add a little bit of, and you can use wasabi. I would recommend against using cadmium yellow. You can use the sunshine yellow or the wasabi, but not the cadmium, because it's that yellow is a little bit too strongish yellow, and you don't want to take the attention away from the flowers themselves. And you just make a very super thin string and cut tiny bits of it, very tiny bits of it. And I think this should be enough. And then just gently grab them and place them. You don't have to press as long as they touch, because they are very tiny, and that way you will cover the traces of you pressing to fix the petals in place. Where is this? I always lose the little tiny itty bitty bits they are left stuck on my finger, and I'm like, where did it go? And you do want them, you don't need them rounded up, you don't need you want volume to them, so you just simply leave them as is, as you have cut them. Okay, this is too big. And this way you will have a beautiful miniature flowered tree. Branch on your earrings. Oh, come on, stay there. No, it's too big. That's why it doesn't want to stay there. There we go, and I'm going to get it even closer in the zoom so you can see how it looks at the end. Actually, no, it's better to use the refocus for this, because I can find a better. And again, you put more leaves here. You can actually make this brown, the thing you wrapped in, if you want it to look like a branch. You can even go, if you have the patience and your hands help, you can make the veins on the leaves. But this is what it would be, and you can see it would be a very pretty earring. You can even use, if you so desire, you can make your own things out of a thicker wire, you know, like, I don't know, maybe a 6 gauge. That would work. But once again, you can find these on my influencer store. Let me actually go in there and show you. Because you can find a whole bunch of them. So as we go in my influencer store, this is how and the order these are in will change all the time, because Amazon has this bad habit of putting for the list the first on what I worked on last time. But in the list, I cannot rearrange stuff anymore, and it kills my OCD, because I like them to be nicely and neatly ordered. I mean, you have first this, and then you have this, and then you have this. I find it much easier to find stuff if it is like that. I'm not sure if they are here. Let's see. They might be here. There you go. There are some charm rings. These are some things. Let's see if we find more of these frames. Closing. So no, not here. Maybe they are in the baking blanks. Coverables. No. You know what? I have so many things here. I forgot where I put them. See, these are the mats I was talking about in the flower making supplies. And this, the Sugarcraft, I need to replace it, but because I see that it's not available anymore. This is what kills me about Amazon. You never find the same stuff over and over. Oh, there we go. Open bezels. There we go. I guess I made this completely separate thing for them. And see how you can find all kinds of shapes. And they are not super expensive. Like, you can get these for 60 pieces for $8.99. One thing you need to be careful about is, see, these I actually made some pretty neat with the little turtles. I made some pretty neat resin stuff with. But again, one of the things that you need to be careful about whenever you buy anything like this, or these you can make, maybe I should show you one day, you can make so-called cloisonné. It's kind of sort of time consuming by just putting droplets of colored liquid clay. But again, looking, you can use the resin tape or the sticky silicone pads when you have frames like this. You put it on the back so that the resin wouldn't go under the frame and go all over the place outside of the frame. But let's see what I wanted to show you. Make sure that you check the measurement, because one time I didn't, and I got these absolutely humongous things that I didn't even know what to do with them anymore. But see, these are 57 millimeters, so that's about 2 inches. So they're much longer than these. It depends on who you're making them for. And if you're doing them, so this is about an inch. If you're doing them for vending, what is your social market? Because you have to always keep in mind who you're making your stuff for if you want to sell. Because remember, when you make stuff to sell, you have to think that the people who are going to buy have to like it. It's not something that, oh, I like this, I'm going to make this and I'm going to sell it. If other people don't like it, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You know, you never create unless you make special, you're a already established artist and your pieces go for a lot of money. And but if you're just going to vend at a venue, don't make stuff because you like them. Make stuff for what would sell, for the people that would come there to buy stuff. So I hope you liked it, and I know it's a little bit more time consuming, but as you can see, they are quite pretty and delicate, and one would always like to wear it for the new spring. And let's all have a nice week, and now no bad weather and no bad news on any plan of our lives, because it's enough. Life stresses us enough, especially as we are getting older. Thank you for being here, and you know very well that I love you all, and I shall see you next Sunday. I'm still striving to finish stuff. I'm getting a little bit better and sleeping better and being more active, but I'm always so behind in the house chores that it's hard to keep up. And now I decided to do a garden again, because with the price of food, I'd rather grow my own tomatoes and know that I can afford to eat fresh stuff, not eat old beans and stuff. You know how it is. I don't have to tell you. So thank you again for being here with me today. I love you all, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye.